All right. So, a very warm welcome to everyone. We're delighted to have you with us for this exciting panel discussion on beauty beyond boundaries. Today, we have the honor of hosting an exceptional lineup of founders and legal leaders from the cosmetic industry. Our esteemed panelists will share their inspiring journeys, showcasing the innovation, creativity, and strategic expertise that has driven their success in this dynamic industry. So, as we all know, the cosmetic industry has witnessed an exponential boom over the past 2 decades, making it a source of inspiration and innovation worldwide. Through this discussion, we look forward to hearing our panelists' unique perspectives and stories, offering valuable insights into the industry's evolution and challenges. I hope that everyone today will leave with some fresh ideas and meaningful takeaways. So, without further delay, I'd like to introduce our first panelist for tonight, Shaheen Umani. So, Shaheen is an accomplished legal professional with over a decade of experience in corporate law, specializing in mergers and acquisition and foreign investment. Currently, he serves as the Director of Legal and Compliance at Purple.com, where he oversees critical legal operations and strategic corporate transactions. Shaheen has also worked with some prestigious law firms such as DSK Legal, Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas and Company, Khetan and Company, where he honed his expertise in legal compliance, corporate governance, and mergers and acquisition. So over to you, Shaheen. If you could just give us a little bit of an introduction of yourself and your background, that'd be great.
Sure. Thank you for the introduction, Shruta. To introduce myself, I think in a few lines, I would just say that first generation lawyer in our family. Families prominently been in business, like all other. Our community is basically a business community. So very few professionals or people aspire to become professionals. So I was one of the lucky ones in that generation. Uh, I started off my studies with science in my junior college, moved to bachelor's in management. While doing my bachelor's, I came across a topic called intellectual property, which kind of pulled my interest towards law, and that's how I ventured into it, not knowing what law is, of course. Once I ventured into law, I started getting internships. That's how I came to know what all specializations are there. Did my internship, got it converted into a job, did corporate law, and that's how the story goes. Like, from one law firm to the other law firm, specializing in corporate law. Again, beauty industry, I had no clue, no idea, but I was advising Purple.com from 2017, I guess. So they were one of our clients when I was in DSK Legal. That's how I got introduced to the industry and the company. And gradually, over a period of 5 years with associating with them in advice and all, it's when the boom happened. The actual boom on online beauty industry happened post 2019-20. That's when they really scaled up and they were looking for an in-house counsel, and that's how I got approached and I moved in-house. So that's in brief, how I landed where I am. As far as the experience goes, primarily I'm a transactional lawyer, but the opportunity of being, the legal and compliance head at Purple for last 2.5 years has also exposed me to a lot of other fields of law like litigation, dispute resolution, IP for that matter, and compliance. So that's how, now I've become more of a generalist and heading their legal and compliance function.
Thank you. Thanks for that lovely introduction. We're very excited to have you with us, and we'll get to know a little bit more about your background and your journey
Thank
as
you.
we go ahead through the discussion. Right? So, I'd like to introduce our second panelist, Prateek Ratnaparki. Prateek is the founder of Worthy Essentials Care Co. and brings a deep passion for innovation and excellence in cosmetic industries. With a strong focus on product development, okay, cosmetic. I think he just dropped out while I was introducing him. No problem. Uh, oh,
I'm still
sorry,
here.
Shaheen dropped
Still
out.
here.
Sorry, my bad, my bad. I thought you just dropped out. Okay,
No.
sorry. So I was saying you have a strong focus on product development, cosmetic dermatology, and regulatory compliance, and you've been instrumental in creating impactful consumer-centric solution. His diverse entrepreneurial experience across various industries, combined with a commitment to quality and innovation, positions him as a visionary leader shaping the future of beauty and skincare. It's also interesting that he's also the co-founder of an AI company, which is Future Assist AI, and he's also the founder of Hyperbrand Private Limited, which demonstrates expertise in branding and marketing strategies. So we'd love to know about you, Pratik, because your experience is so diverse. I mean, I see cosmetic, I see AI, I see marketing, branding. So if you can just give us a little bit of insight into your career and your personal journey and how you reached where you are today, that'll be great.
Yeah. So I'll start with I graduated in 2016, and after that I started off High Brand Private Limited as a digital marketing agency. So, but I had a passion for software engineering, so I moved on to creating apps and creating websites and all those things. But we eventually again pivoted towards just building enterprise applications for startups, enterprise products for startups. So eventually, what led me to create a beauty brand is by my understanding, I think, not my understanding, but my I think what I love the most about my job is to build products that I could see in my own hand, which we obviously cannot do in when it comes to software products, right? So there are so many, and then I eventually targeted beauty industry because obviously there was a lot to do. I mean, beauty industry was supposed to grow so much, and so many reports that I saw from Bloom Venture and all those guys that mention beauty industry as is the industry to go. So I think that's what led me to go into beauty industry with this brand called as Worthy Essentials Co. And what we did was we launched. It took me 2 years to launch the first product, by the way. So I took a lot of time, but eventually we did launched with DH5 formulation hair growth serum, which went hit on Amazon. We did launch. We were invited in Launchpad within, I guess, 45 days of the launch, and we did close to 1.3 crore in the first 6 months. So we were a very successful brand and with one single SKU, by the way. So we were doing pretty good, but eventually a couple of things happened, and then I started off my venture with the same manufacturer that I was getting the products manufactured from. Now I'm heading that manufacturing unit. I'm the CEO of VR Health Science, and yeah, that's what I'm doing. So about the future AI, by the way, I still have a team of 22 engineers working in Hybrands Private Limited. So they do take care of the software division entirely, and we are building something called as Future AI, Future Assist AI. So that is my side project, by the way. So yeah.
Lovely. Lovely. Thanks for that introduction, Pratik. And I'd love to know more about, how you're sort of bringing AI into the cosmetic space, if at all, as and when we go forward in the discussion. But extremely interesting background of like various industries. Extremely excited to have you with us. Thank you.
So thanks.
So I'd like to introduce our last panelists for tonight. Uh, we have Sheesh Kharesia. Sheesh is a visionary entrepreneur leading Baby and Mom Retail Private Limited, a company dedicated to innovative brands that enhance daily life, including BB and Oyo Baby. With a philosophy rooted in starting small and growing big, Sheesh's portfolio extends to investment in sectors like e-commerce, safety, and sustainability. Through his brands and ventures, he emphasizes excellence in execution and prioritizes employees as the cornerstone of customer satisfaction. His work exemplifies strategic growth fueled by passion and purpose. So, we're very happy to have you with us, Sheesh. If you can just give us a little bit of an introduction of yourself and your brand, we would love that.
Hey, hi, Shruti. Hi, thank you, everyone. Good evening. So, myself is Sis, and I'll start with my journey when I started the entrepreneurship journey. In 2013, I started my journey with the baby industry. So, in the baby industry, cosmetic products of the baby is very necessary to check all the parameter for the products. So from the day one, we were into the industry where we need to take care about each and every element about the every product's ingredients, what are the active ingredients, what are the non-active ingredients. So this is how I started. Post that, gradually we grow with the multiple brands. So now we became the house of brands. So currently we are running at the 100 CR ARR, while we are the bootstrap, and we are having the multiple brands. So now we are having the 7 brands. In that, we are having one beauty brands as well, which is the newish. And we are like, we need to be very careful about the brand, and about the material which we are consuming in our brand. So because like every skincare products might hamper if we are not taking care about the ingredients to any of the consumer, and which is very, like in India, like we need to be very careful, while or everywhere, even like we need to be very careful about the ingredients which we are putting into our products. And currently I think in the baby industry, there is the huge demand, and I think one of the leading category in the e-commerce sector. And I think that's all.
Thanks, Sheesh. Thanks for that introduction and inspiring journey. Like you said, you're like now a house of brands with a stupendous revenue. So happy to have you on board. One thing that you did mention, and I'll take away from that and pose a question here. You said that you have to be very particular about ingredients. So, Shine, I'll pose this question to you because you have probably worked across different industries. How strict is the regulatory compliance requirement in the cosmetic space?
Uh, so I would put it that any industry where it pertains to two things. Okay, one is where something is applied on your skin, or where something is consumed. Okay, uh, I do not think that the regulators take that very lightly, for a simple reason that it is something to do with human body directly. Uh, so at least what I know is there is a stringent process of getting an FDA approval before any product is launched in the market. And FDA approval is something which not only checks your ingredients, but you also have to disclose your formulations, your production process, uh, to ensure that there is no adulteration that is happening, or there is no side effect to that product on a human body. So to summarize, it's very stringent, and rightly so, because there's a lot at stake here.
Right. As you mentioned, it's something that you're applying on your skin, right? So it has to be
Yeah,
stringent, like you said, rightly so.
yes.
Thanks for that answer, Shine. So, Prateek, now that you have ventured into the cosmetic industry from, I would say, like a marketing and AI space, is regulatory compliance a challenge that you face because you came up with a hair serum? And what was your journey, when you came? Why did you firstly also, I would like to know, choose hair care? Because I didn't go, we do understand that the brand has to do with a lot of hair care products.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I'll start with first. Yes, we learned it the hard way that there's a lot that we have to, do in terms of compliance and in terms of how the marketplace governance works and how we have to play by their rule. And so yeah, right now I'm pretty much still learning the compliance part on the ingredients and all those things that has to be considered. The reason I went into hair care space is because it's purely based on the data. I crunched a lot of data as a data guy. I crunched a lot of data in terms of where or which segment to launch our products in, and where do I find the most interest in. So that's how I launched into hair care space, which we did pretty well. We are currently doing pretty well as well. There are a couple of more formulations that we're working on, but the biggest challenge that we do face is, yes, the legal assistance that we need as a brand, as a startup. And eventually we are confused at this point. I mean, not us. I mean, the startup community, I believe, who starts with the beauty care in the BPC industry, they often feel confused in terms of, and they often learn it hard way as well by getting their products blocked or getting their um, brands blocked altogether, their accounts blocked altogether by putting in some words. So yeah, I mean, I am still searching for that one single playbook, if there is any, who could help, which could help us to understand. There are certain elements that, or there are certain ingredients that cannot go in certain products and all those things. So I think, yeah, that's about it.
Great. Like you said, it would be amazing to have a playbook, right? That could just solve all the issues.
Yeah, for
Uh,
starters, yes.
in fact, sorry, Shweta, but just to add to what
Yeah, sure.
Prateek has just mentioned, there are two more points that needs to be, considered. One is, there's a concept of clean beauty, clean beauty products. See, right
Yeah,
now that is very nascent in India. But if you actually go to the West, right now the entire focus is on clean beauty because there, the ingredients and the regulator. So the regulators, when they look at ingredients, they also look at now the chemical compositions that you're putting in and how will that chemical compositions play. And I think Sheesh would be more expert in this because when it comes to kids beauty,
yeah,
the level is much higher. uh, so I think day by day this compliance aspect of it will become more and more stricter because of the fact that even public or the consumers are becoming aware of these things. Like to say 10 years back, if you asked the generation who was previous than us, they used to not know a difference between a serum or a face cream, or what is a vitamin C infused serum or a salicylic acid, or for that matter, those words. But
sure.
today's generation, if you ask them, they will actually look into it. They will do their research before buying your product. So it is not only the regulators, but it is also the consumer. The natural trend of the consumer is they want to know what you are putting in, and that kind of puts an added responsibility on the manufacturers.
Right, right. Absolutely. The consumers are much more aware, like you said, and when I even mentioned in my introduction, this industry has grown so much in the past, I would say 20 years. Skincare was not even a concept, I think, probably like 5 to 10 years back. I think COVID sort of had a big role to play when it came to like self-development and skincare and, all those things. So yeah, it's also, I think, the consumers. So Shisha, if we could have your insights, I also understand like there's a category called cosmeceuticals, right? Which is a mixture of both cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. So do you combine like both pharma product or like medicinal properties and cosmetic ingredients in your formulations? And what are sort of the regulatory challenges, if any, that you faced?
So I think in the beauty products and into the baby care products, yes, there might be like it's depend upon the brand to brand. If they would like to go with the dermatological testing products, so I think they need to follow some rule and regulations which is made by government of India. So I think that's depend upon the brand. But even as Sahin mentioned that there is the concept of the clean beauty. So which hits I think a few years back in India for the baby care industry when some brands start importing the products. Now I in India every brand start following the same and they start doing the manufacturing in India. And I think a clean beauty for the even for the baby or even for the adults is growing, right? And I think there is a huge scope in India where I think uh, with the support of the manufacturer, with the support of the raw material supplier, I think in India it will be the next big thing into the HPC category.
Right, right, absolutely. And you mentioned, of course, that right now your venture is completely bootstrapped. So, what is like the vision for your brand? Do you want to pick up investment at some point, or are you really happy?
No, yes, I'll tell you about us, right? So on the initial stage, when we went for the investment to the banks, to the PE, to the investors, right? So they start looking for the fancy degree kind of the IIM and all. So I think uh, that give me boost key. Let's make something which is without having that kind of the degree. And we successfully, we like one of the brand which is acquired by the Mensa, which was the baby. And post that, we grown our remaining brands with us. So in last 4 years we grow from 4 cr to 23 to 44, and this year we are clocking around 100 crore. So I think that there is no necessary of the funding and all. The necessary thing is that we need to have the mindset, and the confidence on us. So while we were looking for the funding, so there was no one, but now we have a lot of guys who are interested in our startup. So now we are selecting those guys which will be the like best strategic partner with us. And I think that's a achievement, as I am the first generation
Absolutely, absolutely.
entrepreneur in our family. So I think that's not the overconfidence, but that's an achievement where we feel and get a lot of rejections. Now we are getting a lot of offers. I think that's make us some feel good factor.
No, no, absolutely. That's lovely. Like you said, when we wanted, nobody was there, and now we don't want and we don't need. We'll be very, very selective. So that's great. What about you, Pratik? Is investment something that you're looking at? Because I think you're newer in the space.
So right now, like I said, very recently I started off as a CEO for VR Health Science. So we are currently doing 30 crore MRR, and we are heading towards, I think next financial year, we would be closing at 65 to 70.
Yeah.
Um, so currently, not really. We are actually, we have just recently bought a new factory in Kotdwar. So we are currently not looking for any external investments. We did raise debt this year for the first time in the company's entire journey so far. But yes, next year onwards, we are looking to raise some funds on a very good valuation. Currently, we don't really necessarily need any external money yet.
Lovely, lovely. So that's also great. Pretty. So I think it's great when you don't need, so that you can like find the right partner and you can hold out, right?
Yeah.
Over to you, Shine, because you have such a vast experience in like mergers and acquisition. What is like the kind of what are the kind of checks and balances that like founders should have in place when they're looking for a partner, right? Because I do understand that sometimes institutional investors, for like small amount of equity, they take a lot of like involvement in the management and acquiring like managerial control,
Yes,
which might not be
yes.
good.
So, I would not say that, there is a standard pattern. Uh, Again, more practical example will be, it is more to do with the current scenario of a lot of things. For example, the industry. So, if, for example, in e-commerce beauty or beauty e-commerce, things actually picked up post 18, if so to say, when Nika picked up the boom, and then, followed by Purple, and now Tira, and a lot of
Yeah.
other companies have entered, right? So one thing is the timing, whether that wave has hit your industry or it is still time. So that kind of is a major factor on the investor interest. Second is, how much money you have for bootstrapping. Like Sheesh rightly mentioned, it's a challenge that the founders, it's a personal challenge for the founders, how they want to grow, and what is their vision. If they are capable of, managing the operations in a more frugal manner, so to say, where they can, maintain the cash flows, then they frankly don't require the money at the initial stages. And the more you delay, the more power you have in a negotiation, and the less dilution happens, because valuation happens gradually. Okay. Today, when you are a startup at stage one, your valuation will be lower, so your
Yeah.
dilution will be a bit higher. It's directly proportional, right? Once your valuation keeps on increasing, you need to dilute much lesser and lesser. Uh, if you ask me my personal view on this, uh, look, I am I am in favor of having investment vis-a-vis a debt for two reasons. One is the cost of capital, uh, especially when you are a startup and you want to save cost. Debt is a fixed cost that comes on you,
Yeah,
as against an
absolutely.
equity investment, which is basically more of a partnership. And second is, if you have a sophisticated investor, a lot of times, all the checks and balances that are required, some of them are very essential. So, for example, if you have an institutional investor who comes in at an early stage, a VC investor, for example, he will push the founders to focus more on compliance and all, which is a good thing because once you achieved a certain stage and then you realize that nobody has paid attention to the compliances or to the regulatory requirements, and then you go into it, there's a lot of fine that can come, there's a lot of business risk that can come. So from that perspective, and also the fact that uh, your investors will have more strategic view of the future, how the industry will pan out because of the connects that they will have. So from those two perspective, given with the cost of equity, I think it's always advisable, but at what stage is totally dependent on the founders and the comfort of the founders.
Yeah, thanks for that answer, Shaheen. Like you said, like the longer you hold out, the more negotiation power you have, right? So I think which is like we have example in front of us right here, right? With
Yes.
Sheesh, who now probably has an option to choose from like the best strategic partner. I also wanted to ask you, Shaheen, because while Sheesh and Pratik both are founders of beauty brands, Purple.com is more of a multi-retail sort of a platform, right? Or where brands come in and list themselves. So what is, this is sort of an IP question, I would say. What is the intermediary responsibility, say, that Purple.com would have in case of like a trademark infringement scenario or someone challenging the brand?
Yeah. So, just to also clarify that while Purple.com is an intermediary that we have, platform, we also have our own private brands like Faces Canada, Good Vibes,
Right,
As
right,
Goodness, Term Doc.
right.
So I can tell you from both the perspective. One is, from my personal brand portfolio perspective, uh, you know, lesson 101 is any brand that I launch or our company launches, we need to get a trademark on it like day one. Not only trademark, even copyright. For a simple reason that if you see in the market, uh, people will copy your trademark. If they can't copy your trademark, they'll copy your copyright. They'll not leave you. And the fakes is a big issue. Especially if your brand starts scaling up. There are like we are personally investigating into a lot of these players. There are repeated offenders whose business is basically to ensure that whichever brands are trending on Amazon, Flipkart, they make the fakes of it and they get those listed at half the price. It is just sugar water or some water in it, and they are making insane amount of money. Money is one thing, but it is also affecting the brands, the trust that the consumer has on that brand. So lesson 101 is trademark copyright application without a thought. You need to get it done. As far as we as the e-commerce platform, uh, or I would rather speak for Amazon, Flipkart, because all of us follow the same
Yeah,
processes.
sure.
Uh, we we basically have checks and balances to say that if you're selling a brand, you need to have either the trademark certificate showing that you are an owner of the brand. If you are not an owner of the brand, then you need a authorization letter from the brand owner saying that you are authorized and you are the only authorized seller for this platform. So what we do is we try to limit the number of sellers for a brand also on a platform, such that if a brand is into offline, we do not want a situation that the offline partners also come on the platform and start selling the brand for cheap, and there is a unfair competition or an unfair practice that is happening on the brand. So these are two major things that we do. Other than that, once we get a complaint from a brand that there is an infringement, we actively look into it, we investigate, we cooperate with the brand, uh, and we try to take intermediate measures until the investigation happens, and then find a resolution. But the timing of that is where the efficiency is. At least for us, I can say that we try to close it within a week's time, so that the the issue is resolved, and the damage is controlled for the brand. These are like the three things. Two of them are proactive, one of them is a reactive mechanism.
Great. Okay, thanks for that answer, Shaheen. And I think Sheesh and Pradeep, both of you are also on e-commerce platforms. So, what are the challenges? Have you also faced challenges like Shaheen said, people first copy your trademark, if they can't, they steal your copyright, and there's a lot of counterfeiting that happens. So, how do you tackle that? Is that something that you've experienced? Maybe Sheesh, we can hear from you first.
So I think science said rightly ki there are a lot of issues which is like concerns on the daily basis, a seller or a brand is receiving from the different kind of the resellers. So while suppose we are having the our one of the brand, like suppose New Wish, and we have the trademark in one class, and we are selling the products from last 3 or 4 years. Then we thought ki let's launch into the next class as well. And while the brand is launching into the different class, like the while we are into the three class three, and we would like to launch into the class 5, which is very similar to the class 3. Then after applying the trademark, generally brand think "Ki, let's launch the products and let's start selling those products." So in between, a brand faces the challenge ki there are the local seller who map those products, and from the day one they are degrading the brand positioning among the consumer, and not only into the quality, into the pricing and into the discounting. So in that situation, brand try to reach out to the platform. Sometimes we get the solutions, sometimes we are unable to get the solutions because of the portal guideline. So in that situation, a huge loss which we generally make. And I think that's the area where a founder, a brand owner need to be very careful. And apart from that, I think he rightly mentioned by the Sahin ki suppose we are selling into the offline as well, and while we are having our listing into the different platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, Purple, Mintra, and all. So the resellers, the retailers start uh, having they might have those kind of the template key. We have the authorization, we have the invoice and all, and they start listing our product and start giving huge discount to the consumer, or the nearby expiry products they start clearing from the inventory. That again impact a lot to the brand. And I think the recovery from that damage is very tough for any of the brands. So I think if we had similar kind of the challenge a lot of time. And I think uh, before, like I think there is a brand gate kind of the, or brand registry kind of the solutions which bring by the portals. I think that's awesome. Or I think if every platform start onboarding or start validating ki this name belongs to that particular company or particular owner. So I think a related category firstly need to, like, they can ensure that related category will launch by that category. Might be cosmetics to the clothing might be different, but cosmetics to the nearby, like matlab any pharmaceutical products can be
Yeah,
linked
yeah.
yes, these are the related category. I think that help a lot to the brand, and that save their time, effort, money, and the brand image as well, or that help to the portal as well. In that situation, the experience of the consumer on the portal level as well was amazing. So I think that's all.
Right, right. You rightly mentioned that having a good partner that can advise you on the related categories, because three is cosmetics and five is pharmaceuticals, and at times both go hand in hand. So having that protection in space is quite beneficial. Thanks for that, Ashish. Prateek, do we have you with us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry, the camera went off, so you're off the spotlight. Yeah. So if you can talk about your experience, say with because you're also listed on e-commerce and you're also online, right? So have you had any issues with infringement, or how do you protect your brand?
So I think Amazon does have a very good brand protective mechanism with them, and we have the transparency as well, which we do have enrolled in, and we plan to enroll in it as well. So yeah, these two are great mechanisms, but apart from that, we still cannot have control over, like you rightly said, there are so many, like Shashin rightly said, that there are so many other counterfeit products that I mean, once the product gets trending on Amazon, there are obviously people who will be copying the product and directly posting it on eBay or some other websites that we do not have access to. And I've seen, I mean, our products as well being listed there, and we had no idea at all about it. So
Oh, okay.
only when we Googled it, we got to know that there are so many other websites whom where we never listed our products, but they were selling our products. So yeah, I mean, not a major. I mean, we just tried to send cease and disease whenever possible. But apart from that, we just don't know beyond what has to be done, right? So that's the issue. We do try to seek legal help, but nothing as such which caused a lot of damage to us so far. But yeah, I would love to know more about this as well, and what actions the brand should be taking in this kind of a condition.
Right. Thanks for that answer, Prateek. So
So
essentially, after you send note, yeah, Shine, I think maybe you can.
sorry, just
No,
just
no,
to
please.
add just to add to that, there is one more big issue. While we are only talking about e-com platforms, this is something that we've faced for one of our hero products is you will also find a lot of fake domains getting created. And
Yeah.
then those get pushed through Facebook and, YouTube, Google for that matter. While, e-com platforms have this brand
Like what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Domain names, like people
domain
park the
names.
domains.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So while what happens is while Amazon and Flipkart has brand gating, but a Facebook or a Google will not even have that. Unfortunately, this is the more bigger concern that we've been facing for our hero products now. And the bigger issue here is all these domain providers, like for example, a GoDaddy or someone, they are not regulated in India. They are not Indian entities. So even
Hmm.
when you get a court order in India, okay, you can only have to, the max you can do is you can go to a DOT, and the DOT can then request, sorry, it's getting a little technical, but they will just request the ISPs to block those domains. But, nobody can stop getting more domains and all. So, there is no foolproof method that we've been able to figure this out. We have been engaging with, the top brass at Facebook and Google, but unfortunately, there is no solution for this yet. And this is a big loophole, or a big hole that still needs to be figured until now. And I'm happy to hear if someone, or if Shweta, you come
Yeah.
across something on this, and you found out a strategy to stop it.
Right, right. Okay, so I'll just take both the questions. So Shaheen mentioned about basically it's called squatting, right? You sometimes people also just block domain names without actual bona fide intent to use. Yes, even if you contact like GoDaddy, we've had actually Shaheen, to answer your question, for a few for brands, we've been successfully able to get the domain name invalidated or not transferred, but the domain name became unusable by contacting the service provider, the domain name registrar, just through like e-mails and by showing our registration certificate, right? So sometimes they do
Right,
respond, right, without going to
right,
court. Of
right,
course, once you go to court, then you know the process. But this
Yeah.
is, I'm telling you, pre-code. Sometimes even contacting the registrars through, like, we've like done phone follow-ups, emails representing the registration certificate, we've got results. And then of course, if there's no bona fide use, you can always file domain name complaints like UDRP and INDRP. That's also something that you can engage in before going to the court. So these are a
Yeah.
few mechanisms that one can explore. But yeah, you have to just be vigilant actually and be proactive. Certain thing might work for someone, certain thing may not. Eventually, you may have to go to court. That can also happen, right? So
Yeah.
the key is to be vigilant. And for your question, Pratik, you don't like after a CND, how do things play out, right? After a CND, if someone is not responding, unfortunately, you have to go to court or you have to do a criminal raid. So you have to go to the law enforcement agencies, which can be, of course, like time consuming and cost intensive, but eventually you have to sort of enforce your brand to make sure that no one else is using it. So that was on the enforcement bit. Thanks for all your answers. I also want to understand again from founders both Sheesh and Pratik, how important do you think it is to advertise through social media? What is the kind of expenditure that you spend on advertising, and what are the means of advertisement that you use? Maybe Pratik, we can hear from you first.
So advertising, yes, it does matter a lot. When we I remember when we scaled as an organization last year, were the essentials. We were spending close to, I think, 2.5 lakh a month. Just on Amazon, we didn't do performance marketing because I wanted to keep it as lean as possible, and I do believe in bootstrapping as well. So yeah, and for current brand, existing brand, we do spend around 3 to 5, anywhere between 3 to 5 lakh. We are just, yeah, I'm just in a, you can say, we are in a phase of building the team right now for the organization.
Right,
I think
right.
Shishi may know about VR Health Science because we were building products for moms and yeah, baby and moms as well. I think 2 years back. Shish?
I think thank you. I actually don't know, like, but still I am thank you. Like my team
Okay.
is taken care all the NPDs and all.
Okay,
So
okay.
I think it's fantastic. And
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, coming back to the question. So, do you think it's important to, because I see so many, when it comes to cosmetics, especially, I see so much of influencer endorsement
Mhm.
online. Do you think that plays an important role? Because so many brands, I think, get viral because of that. I personally, like, as a consumer, now I'm talking not as a lawyer, when I want to pick up a new brand, I go to certain influencer reviews and see what they have to say. So, do you think that's an important marketing strategy in this digital age? Anyone, maybe Shish, you
hi,
can.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. So as Pratik mentioned, ki there is the like, is there any need of the social media marketing or the platform marketing? Yes, I think it's a depend upon the brand age where it is exactly. So like on the initial stage, the brands can do the marketing on the platform. Then later on, slowly, they need to cut down their marketing budget from the platform, and slowly start spending on the social media platform where it play a big role. So again, it's a depend upon the brand thought. Ki some brands thought is having key, let's start with the influencer marketing first, then later on we will go for the platform marketing, then in the stage 3 we can go for the D2C. So it's depend upon the all depend upon the brand thought and the brand strategy what they are using. So while we are having around 10 CR marketing budget annually, so we divide that budget into the different category, like the platform marketing and the social media marketing, then the influencer, and recently, as we did celebrity endorsement as well, Mukesh
love it.
Khanna as an Shaktiman for one of the brand. So it's all depend upon the situation and the stage of the brand and how aggressive the founder while they are considering that brand and the long term thought about that brand.
Right. Thanks for that answer. You gave us like lots of ways you mentioned, right? On the platform through social media, celebrity endorsements. So there are different ways that you can market depending on what stage the brand is at. Pratik, what is your opinion on say social media or influencer marketing?
Yeah, see, the way I see marketing is to just amplify the values that we have, collected in a bottle, right? Or bottle or a product, right? So I think that is obviously required, but at the same time, like yeah, Ashish rightly mentioned, the stage and the risk appetite of the founder is also has to be considered. So it is pretty much required. Yes, we have to amplify whatever we have built, and the amplification could be done using either the influencer marketing, like you mentioned, and it does work pretty well for a lot of brands, or either through the paid marketing. But I do keep myself away from the paid marketing. As much as I can. But yeah, we are in the process of, like I said, building a team so that we could have a very good performance marketing team in house. So eventually we'll be getting there as well.
Right, right. I think it's like both you mentioned the stage that you're at and the founders also personal opinion on that. Shaheen, when it comes to so because there is so much of influencer marketing, like I said, one of course is paid, and then you also have unsolicited reviews. Have you, as a brand, both for your in-house brands or say for Purple as such, encountered cases where reviews have sort of borderline into defamation? And has that ever been a challenge? Because someone may not just be reviewing and maybe making defamatory or incorrect remarks, right?
Yeah, lots of times that is normal. Uh, because someone, like, every person who buys a product has some expectations, and if those expect and that may be above and beyond what you have claimed with your product. Okay. So of course, then that person, whether for his own personal reasons or for any other ill reasons, also want to uh, you know kind of destroy your image, or bring down your brand value, and will go on a YouTube, make a video, Instagram, make a video, and say things which may get into defamation. But this is something that we have noticed is there are checks and balances for those also, like YouTube and for that matter even Instagram. They have a reporting mechanism where if you put a complaint, they basically look into it, very aggressively, and they stop it also. Uh, However, to answer your question, can you stop it? No, you can't. Uh, and these are sometimes also, uh, done by competitors, so to say.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's how every industry is, right? And you cannot control people talking about your brand. So you have to live with it, and the max you can do is you can put a complaint against that video and get it removed from the social media
Right, right. Because we also had a discussion yesterday where someone did mention how they're facing a big challenge with influencers getting defamatory and
platform.
also comparative advertising becoming defamatory. One is freedom of expression and information, and then one is
Yes.
plain defamation.
So, I can't take names and
Yeah, absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
brands, but of course, there have been instances where I know for a fact that some influencers, they once they will enter into an arrangement with you, they will do your your video for influencing your product, and then if the product does really well also, they'll come back to you saying, this is because of my brand or me being associated with your brand. Now give me more money or I will do negative publicity. Like, it's gone to that level also. uh, and you can't do anything. I mean, then it's a judgment call that you need to take, whether what it's a risk versus reward, like how it will
Absolutely.
play out. But yeah, I mean, I'm talking so casually because I'm a legal person, and I am more more I would say I'm kind of used to it, but yes, my marketing team guys get really scared with all these kinds of things, and they come running to us, and then we have to really calm them down, saying, nothing will happen. Don't worry, we'll pull it down. It's a matter of a couple of days that you need to
Bear with
do
it,
it.
yeah.
But yes, yeah, but that's how it is. That's how the industry operates.
Yeah,
Right.
I have a question for Shaheen in this case. How often, I mean, what output does this kind of a conflicts usually ends up in?
So Pratik, look, it will not happen often, okay? Because I'll tell you why. At least in our case, because uh, people also know that we have larger pockets compared to an influencer. And if we take it to court, it is all about burning resources to decide who prevails. So it will not happen on a day-to-day basis. And also there's a lot of reputation of the influencer also involved, because one day you're saying good things about the brand, and then suddenly you're saying bad things about the brand, then you are diluting your own reputation also. But but yes, if something like this happens, then it is a judgment call whether what is the impact and what actions you need to take for it. The action, of course, is one is pulling down of video, which is a given, which you will take. Whether you want to file a defamation suit against that person or not is a call that you need to take with how much is at stake with that influencer or that brand.
Got it. Thanks. Thanks.
I think it's a decision where which is more cost effective and which is more matlab, more effective, matlab, which is the right decision which need to taken care by the marketing or by the brand side, right? So will it
Absolutely.
impact the brand
Hundred
image or
percent.
will it just a review only? Because the customers are able to understand ki nowadays like ki this is the fake or this is something which is very very true, right? So I think it's a brand decision only.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for that.
And also sometimes it may work for your benefit also. Your products get trending if there's negative publicity. Like people are more
Yeah.
curious to know what
Yeah.
why everyone is saying so much negative things about me. So again, like Pratik, there's no set answer to it. It all boils down to the point that what is the risk, what is the reward.
Right.
Yeah.
I think very interesting thing you said about negative publicity, because I think Deepika Padukone launched her brand, which got a lot of negative influencer reviews, and I didn't even know about the brand up until then. But when I saw those reviews, I went into the website. I wanted to see the brand. So I mean, I got to know about the brand through the negative reviews. So it can work in your favor. So thanks for that. I think we're running a little short on time. So if I can just ask all of you, we can just go around. Maybe we'll start with Sheesh because he has a hard stop at 9:30. What is the one biggest challenge that you faced as a founder in the cosmetic industry? And what is the one advice that you would want to like leave for any budding entrepreneur who wants to enter into this industry?
So yes, rightly said. Right. So biggest challenge for having the right product from the right supplier is for the new founders into the cosmetic industry. So I think uh, checking the right supplier, right partner is the first. And second thing is that ki while you are choosing the product, it should be the market fit or it should fit with your brand. So I think a two, three, these are the two factors. And into the beauty category, the brand need to have a lot of patience while while selecting that category. I think it's required much uh, harder patient, much strong patience while anybody is launching the beauty category.
Right, great. Thanks for those pointers and that advice, Sheesh. Thanks for that. Pratik, over to you. What's the biggest challenge that you think you faced as a founder? And what is the one advice that you would want us to go home with today?
I think the biggest challenge um, I ever faced was to find the right suppliers. And it's difficult. I tried to approach the suppliers who are leading in the industry, but the challenge with them again is the MOQ, right? And yeah, so the one advice that I would like to give for anybody who's starting just now is, I mean, see, I'm still learning as well, but choosing the right supply is the first thing. Second is get your compliances right. We cannot run away from the compliances. I learned this hard way as well. So anybody who's starting out, starting just now, should be taking this compliance thing very seriously. By compliance, I mean the basics, right? Getting the company compliances right, getting your books right, and everything. Apart from that, first products that you choose, or first 1 to 2 or 3 products that you're going to be choosing, ensure that these products are already validated with the data. I mean, the validation in terms of the current need, the requirement. If it is a completely brand new product, it would be a little bit expensive to get the right or to figure out if it's a product market, if it finds a PMF, right? So that's it from my side.
Thanks for that, Prateek. Very valuable advice you gave. Like compliance, of course, is important, and find the right product. Over to you, Shareen. I would like one advice to like the founders from a legal point of view, and also to like I would say, because you can give this advice to say a few young lawyers who might be listening to this, who've sort of transitioned into say an in-house role. What would your advice be for these two categories?
So, founders, it's just going to be two things. One is what Pratik rightly said, compliance, and the second being the governance. If you can hold these two right from the beginning, uh, that will will make immense value. When you reach the growth stage of the company. It's very positive, and that is the driving factor right now, post the growth stage and towards the public listing of the company. Uh, that's that's something that is not being achieved by a lot of people. So for founders, it is compliance and governance. For the young lawyers, my limited advice would be that, in a law firm, you get to specialize, you get to master a subject, but in an in-house role, you have to be a generalist. You don't know what is going to come your way. And the second is, as an in-house lawyer, the approach should not be just identifying the problems, but finding solutions which are practical, with the risk and reward, because that's what every business person will be looking or turning to. Uh, they don't want to know what is the penalty. They want to know penalty versus what is the benefit. Is the risk worth taking on? I think if you can crack that, then you can become a great GC.
Absolutely, because you always the business at times is only concerned about the money aspect, right? Like you mentioned. I'm sure
Yes,
that's a
yes,
that's a challenge
yeah.
when it comes to compliances. All right. Thanks for that. I had a great time interacting with everybody. I hope all of you also could get some insights and had a nice time chatting with me.
Same here.
Thanks.
Thanks for the invite, and it was lovely speaking to all of the speakers and to you, Shweta. Thanks for this.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Prateek.
you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ritik.
Pratik. Thanks, Nish.
Thanks, Shine.
Have a good night. Bye.
Good night.